And now the latest across the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June the 13th. Today across the wide world of tropics, we now have 2 active tropical cyclones. Tropical Depression 3 in the eastern Pacific, well out to sea, not going to affect any land areas, and Tropical Storm Koguma, which has made landfall and will now be on a weakening trend for the rest of its life. It's day 164, and so far we've had 29 storms form this year, although could that go to 30 and maybe 31 in the next few days? It is certainly possible. Let's jump straight into the Atlantic, where we have Invest 92L on day 13 of hurricane season. We're giving it a 50% chance of formation as it travels somewhere around the Bay of Campeche into Western Gulf area. The NHC last I checked are giving it 40%, but otherwise across the rest of the basin it's quiet. We have dropped that main development region area as models have really dropped off on that. On day 29 of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season, Tropical Depression 3 is sitting way out to sea, expected to become a tropical storm fairly soon here in the next few days, and Invest 93E is sitting just off the coast of Mexico. We're giving it a 20% chance of cyclone formation off the coast of Mexico. Heavy rain can be expected, as you'd think, with 92L and 93E in Mexico. And in the Western Pacific, the only thing active is Tropical Storm Koguma, moving inland, expected to be on a rapid weakening pace now that it is inland. Here's the current satellite imagery of the whole Atlantic basin wide. You can see Invest 92L there. Not really, a lot of thunderstorms around where we've pinpointed its location. General thunderstorm activity in the Bay of Campeche and over Mexico. That's really going to be the name of in 92L, name of the game, I suppose. Heavy rain for Mexico and potentially the U.S. Gulf Coast as it heads north in its lifetime. Otherwise, it's quiet around the basin. In the Eastern Pacific, you can see TD3 there. Well-defined spin and some good thunderstorm activity there near the center. It could become a tropical storm very soon, although it is the complete opposite for 93E. You can see there not really any thunderstorm activity by its center, and no well-defined spin on that. That's why we've dropped it from 30 to 20% in the next 5 days. In the Western Pacific, the sun is rising in the Philippines and China. Good morning, and you've got Tropical Storm Koguma there. It's got some good thunderstorm activity still to it, so heavy rain can be expected and tropical storm force winds, which can cause some structural damage, as we've seen several times. So the threat is not over 100% with Koguma, but it is on a weakening trend for now. The worldwide sea surface temperatures, we're going west to east tonight. We've got in the Central Pacific generally 25-26 degrees Celsius. As you go southeast of Hawaii, it gets warmer as you go west into the Western Pacific. Into the East Pacific, hot off the coast of Mexico. If a storm tries to form with the correct conditions, all favorable conditions there, it will be able to get quite strong off the coast of Mexico. Let's hope if a storm does that, it stays out to sea. In the Atlantic, it's still warming up. You can see the Gulf of Mexico and Western Caribbean piping hot, and the rest of the basin is warming up. In the Indian Ocean, general 29-30 degrees Celsius in the Arabian Sea and North Indian Ocean. And in the Western Pacific, you've got generally 29-30 degrees Celsius in the South China Sea and in the main area of the Western Pacific. The sea surface temperature anomalies, you can see in the Atlantic, the majority of the basin is above average. The Gulf of Mexico is above average, just piping hot, ready for Invest 92L. Out to sea in the Atlantic, subtropics are quite warm or quite above average. Off the coast of Mexico and the Eastern Pacific, generally above average. You go towards the equatorial region, you get towards average and more below average sea surface temperatures. There in the Western Pacific, the majority of the basin is above average, near or above average for the majority of the basin. In the North Indian Ocean, generally above average. On this day in 2019, June 13th, 2019, we had Cyclone Value off the coast of India, and this was peaking on this day. It was the only thing active on this day. And really what it would do is it would travel west, weaken, and then it would make landfall. I think it was either in Pakistan or India as a tropical depression. So thankfully it did not make landfall at peak intensity, but it was still a significant cyclone to see in June for the Arabian Sea, a Category 3 again on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Well, as we look at the naming lists, we could see the next storm soon in the Atlantic. If we do get it from 92L, it would be Bill, followed by Claudette. In the Eastern Pacific, we could see Carlos very soon. After that, it is Dolores. In the Central Pacific, it's still Hone, and is likely to remain Hone for the next while. In the Western Pacific, we've now had Koguma. The next name is now Champi, followed by Infa. In the North Indian Ocean, we are looking out for Gulab. In the Australian region, we're looking out for Paddy and Ruby. After the season has ended there, we are coming up, I believe, on a new naming list. That might be in the Southwest Indian Ocean, which the current list in the Southwest Indian Ocean is Kanga, followed by Ludzi. Let's hope we don't see a late season storm in the Southern Hemisphere. And in the South Pacific, we're looking out for Cody, followed by Dovey. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll have another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow night.